We now have our amber Baja Designs Squadron Pro plugged in. So.
And Kevin said, "Let there be light."
Oh my God, that's gonna be so rad. All right, you guys, so first off, you're gonna have to excuse me because for some reason, dumb me thought it would be a fantastic idea to save filming the intro for last. And of course, my luck, I woke up this morning with a cough that has me sounding like this. It also has my husband hiding inside away from me as far as he possibly can to avoid catching my cooties. But I'm not gonna let something as silly as a raspy ass voice stop me from releasing this video tonight because the show must go on. Now, a lot of you might remember in some of our most recent episodes where Kevin and I did some night wheeling that it went a little something like this. I can't see. No. Watch that tree. Oh my God, it's so hard to see in the dark. Oh, those are springs popping. Oh God, y'all can't even see this. Kevin's a nutcase. And like this. Something. He said if we can make it through it, we'd be the first people in an actual Jeep, especially a nice Jeep
or something. I don't know what a nice Jeep means.
Probably a $50,000 brand new JLU Rubicon.
Don't say that. You sound stuck up.
Oh my gosh! There's a creek there, Kev.
The creek. We just drove
off the trail into a creek.
I didn't know it was gonna be like that.
Now, you might also remember that those videos were full of comments from people telling us how much we needed aftermarket lighting, or at least something other than just the factory headlights and fog lights. Well, today, I'm here to tell you that we listened, and in this video, we will be installing Baja Designs Squadron Pro fog lights and their Squadron Sport A-pillar mount lights. Now, Kevin and I, of course, we had to go with the best of the best. For those of you who are not familiar with Baja Designs, not only have they been industry leaders in off-road lighting for over 25 years, not only are their lights bright as shit, and not only do professional competitive rigs run their lights in events such as the Baja 1000 and King of Hammers, but they have a ton of patented, innovative technology that sets them above the rest. One of which happens to be their moisture blocking technology, which means that these lights are not only waterproof and rainproof, but they're also submersible. And the reason for that is their use of O-rings rather than silicone. They also have something called U-service, which means that you can actually swap out the lenses for these lights on your own. It's super easy and it takes like 10 seconds. I'll actually show you how to do that here in just a little bit. But guys, I'm super pumped. This means we have lights. It means we can do some more insane nighttime off-roading. And of course, we all know that that just is gonna make for some really rowdy videos in the future. Okay, so before we even start this 10-minute super simple install of the Squadron Pro fog lights, I'm gonna do two things. A, I'm gonna show you the difference in lighting and brightness between the factory fog lights. And remember, we have the lighting package. And two, I'm gonna show you just how freaking easy it is to swap out the U-service replaceable lenses, because Kevin and I have opted to go with the amber lenses rather than the white ones. So we'll go ahead and show you how to swap those out before we even get started. Check out this brightness difference. So as you can see, we've got our factory fog light plugged in, shining bright, and we've got this driver's side one unplugged, and we've plugged in the Squadron Pro because again, these are plug and play and super easy to do. So we're gonna show you just how different these brightnesses are. So there's the passenger side fog light from factory with our lighting package on our JL. And here is the Baja Designs Squadron Pro fog light. So you can see, I mean, I don't even know. It speaks for itself. I don't really have to say anything there. And this is the white. We're gonna go ahead and show you how easy it is to swap on those U-service lenses. And we're gonna go put the amber on. Oh my God, you're showing the house. All right, let's put the amber ones on. I'm curious to see how those look. So Baja Design's unique use of O-ring seals rather than silicone means that you can swap these lenses out by yourself very, very easily. Other LED lights typically use silicone to seal the housings, which means that if you ever get a rock chip or a scratch, or God forbid that it breaks, typically means you have to send it back to the manufacturer to get it serviced, or you have to buy a completely new light. Whereas with Baja Designs, you can take care of this yourself very cheaply just by swapping out a new lens. All it takes is a 2.5 Allen and 4 screws. And that's all there is to it. It takes 30 seconds and you have a brand new lens in whichever color you choose to go, which as you can see, like I said, Kevin and I chose to go with the amber lens.
Oh, and we went with the amber lens because the other night in New Mexico, we did.
So we got caught in a super, super foggy, they call them a fog storm?
I guess, a fog out?
Fog out? I don't know. But
Foggy McFoggerton.
We got caught in basically blinding fog.
And we couldn't see.
And we couldn't see jack crap. So this is where these are definitely going to come in handy for us. Okay, so once more, here's our factory fog light. And we now have our amber Baja Designs Squadron Pro plugged in. So.
And Kevin said, "Let there be light."
Oh my God, that's gonna be so rad. That'll definitely cut through fog like nobody's business. Now, as for the installation itself, as far as tools go, you're gonna need one 10mm socket with, of course, a ratchet, 2 14mm wrenches, and a 4mm Allen. Excuse me. Michael! And first things first is, of course, assembling the bracket for the fog light, which Baja Designs provides for you. Okay, for real, this installation is so easy, even a blonde Brittany can do it. You're gonna take your bracket with the long section towards the inside of the Jeep. You're gonna take your second bracket with your curve towards the outside or the front of the Jeep, bolt on top, lock nut on bottom. So this is where your 2 wrenches come into play. And all we're gonna do is snug this bolt down, because as you can see, this bracket can shift back and forth. And since we don't know exactly where we want that bracket to sit just yet, we're not gonna tighten it down all the way. Okay, and once you've got that snug, then of course, it's just attaching the fog light to that bracket. And this is where your 4mm Allen will come in handy. But as you can see, Baja Designs kind of thought through just about everything. And there's actually even Loctite already applied to these bolts here, which is pretty awesome and saves us a step. Oh God. Don't throw your tools at your helpers. So again, these you're just gonna want to snug down just like you did that other bolt, because you're still gonna want to be able to angle this and put it into the exact position you want before you actually tighten them down. I'm not gonna throw this tool at you this time.
I'm willing to take bets on that not being true.
Kick your ass, Michael. So as you can see, everything is loose enough that we can still angle and move it around, but tight enough that we can mock it up to the exact location we want before we tighten everything down. So all that's left is removing the factory fog light with 2 bolts, and then using those same 2 bolts to install the new one. Ta-da! 2 bolts, and that's it. From there, the Squadron Pros just bolt right up into place of the factory fog lights. From there, all that's left is plugging in the supplied wiring harness to your factory plug here. And all you have to do after that is adjust the fog light so that it's angled, A, the way that you want it to be, and B, so you're not blinding oncoming traffic. Then repeat those steps for the opposite side, and then voila, you have fantastic, super bright, great in adverse weather conditions, waterproof lighting that is super awesome off-road at night fog lights. The Squadron Pros are so cool, and I love, 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 love the look of these amber lenses. I know, we're being so boring with these installs instead of playing with you. Drop it. Okay, so next up is installing the Squadron Sport, which is an A-pillar mounted kit. And although the installation is a little bit more difficult and in-depth than the Squadron Pro fog lights, they're still relatively simple. And the main reason for that isn't just the way that Baja Design created their product, but it's also because Jeep thought well ahead of time. And if you guys own a JL Rubicon, like we do, that means that you have auxiliary switches already built in to your center console. And Jeep went ahead and located the wiring for the switches so they're easily accessible inside the engine bay. So if you open up your engine bay and you look right up against the passenger side fender wall, you'll find these little guys right here, which include your auxiliary 1 and 2 wires, which are both a 40 amp, and your auxiliary 3 and 4 wires, which are 15 amp. So your auxiliary 1 and 2 are gonna be these 2 larger wires. Obviously they're 40 amp, and they're gonna be your brown and your pink and your green and your pink. And then your 3 and 4 auxiliary, which are the 15 amp, are gonna be your pink and orange and your blue and pink striped wires. Now Kevin and I are gonna use auxiliary 4, which is this tiny blue and pink wire here, to go ahead and power up our Squadron Sport A-pillar lights. Now obviously for those of you who don't have the factory auxiliary switches, Baja Designs does include a single switch in their kits that you can utilize, or if you want, you can also get a full switch panel from companies like S-Tech Switch Systems and Team Tech Off-Road. Okay, so first things first is of course laying out all your wiring and routing it the way that you want. We've opted to go ahead and do that through the cowl of the Jeep, which is at the top of the hood. That way all the wires are completely unseen for the most part, and we don't have to worry about them. And we're gonna do this by jerry-rigging a little device that Michael has come up with that just involves a little bit of welding rod.
It looks so serious,
and
Michael.
Electrical tape. So we've just got electrical tape on the plug on one end, welding rod in order for us to push it all the way through. And as you can see here, we've just taken this side cowl off, which is just 4 bolts, bolt, 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 and we're just gonna push this through. You can obviously use like wire hanger or anything like that if you wanna go this route, but this should hopefully work. And of course, obviously, if you don't have a rod or a wire hanger or anything like that that's long enough, you can always just remove your windshield wipers and pull this cowl off. We're just lazy and we want to use the least amount of steps possible to get this done. So the long wire here, we want on our passenger side, so you pull that all the way through. Once you have that through, now at this point, so you don't lose this guy by it being pulled back under the cowl, easy way to do this is to go ahead and plug in your Squadron Sport, which gives you that little bit of extra wiring, and just set that bad boy right there on top of the cowl until you're ready to bolt it into place. Once you have those lights safely set aside, from that point you're going to take that long wire, you're going to send it underneath that foam piece there, underneath your little bracket right there to keep it nice and tucked tightly against the fender and the body of the Jeep, and then right down here to the home stretch where all of our auxiliary wiring is located. Okay, so next up is going to be reinstalling those side cowls, which Michael, again, is helping us with. And for those of you who are curious, Michael is helping us today, A, because he's a fantastic freaking friend, and B, as I've said multiple times, electrical anything is like my arch nemesis.
Also, he's our new sidekick. He's the Robin to my Batman.
But since he enjoys electrical anything, he's so graciously volunteered to help us with this install because I would hate it mostly. Okay, let's go. Now the cowl, obviously, all you need to do is move your lighting wiring just to the back there. Slide that in, and there you go. You can go ahead and reinsert these bolts on the bottom, but not these two yet because you gotta put the brackets on first. And for those of you who are curious, that is a T40 that you need to screw those back in. And then at this point, we can go ahead and assemble the brackets for the lights, which are almost identical to the Squadron Pro fog light brackets. So super simple. Now for the Squadron Sports, you have this bracket here. The long piece here is going to be aimed towards the inside of the hood, and you have the identical bracket like we did have on the fog lights right there, like that. So you've got your 4mm bolts on either side of the light itself, and again you have that 10mm bolt on the bottom along with your washers and your nuts, which I've got a couple of those right here.
I know what you're talking about.
And once again, just like the fog lights, all of your bolts should be snug but not fully tight. You want to still be able to adjust everything. It's making faces. You want to be able to adjust everything before you fully torque everything down. Now once you have your bracket and light together, you're going to take these spacers right here, and they're going to go right there where your cowl and your side cowl would usually be bolted together. Bracket goes right on top of that. And then Baja Design provides these nice little 10mm bolts, which replace your factory bolts. Okay, so last up is just the wiring, which, unless you're me, is super duper simple.
It's super duper simple anyway.
I mean, okay, I could do it. I just don't want to.
It's 2 wires.
I don't like handling wires. I don't care. Okay, it is, but it's literally just 2 wires. It's really easy. And once we've got them wired up and the lights are working, then we can aim them, and that's it. We're done. So we're gonna go ahead and wire up the power first, which is your red wire here. And as I said before, we're gonna wire it to your 15 amp auxiliary 4 switch, which is your blue and pink wire right here. All right, now that we've got our beautiful power hooked up right here, next up is going to be the ground wire, which we are going to connect right there. And that should be it. We're gonna pretty up this power wire and tuck it out of the way as well, but
boom!
We should have A-pillar lights now. And now, of course, we get to test them and see if we did everything right. And by we, I mean Michael. Oh God. Woo!
Yeah!
We did it! Look at that! Oh man. That is a beautiful sight right there. Check it out. All right, let's go ahead and see what the difference is here. Fog lights and the Squadron Sports. Oh man. Oh, we gotta aim that one. And this is why you leave those bolts just slightly snug so that you can adjust these as you want once you've got everything wired up and turned on. Now, as far as the Squadron Sports go on the A-pillar, Kevin and I have kind of actually opted to go ahead and leave those bolts just the teeniest bit loose. That way we can turn them as we want whenever we're wheeling. We don't have to worry about pulling tools out, just to loosen them up and aim them. We can kind of adjust them based on the obstacle that we're climbing. And just in case I do have to say this, those Squadron Sports on the A-pillar are not driving lights. Those are off-road specific lights. Those are not drive on the highway and absolutely blind other people. I figured that was worth mentioning just in case some of you aren't familiar with these type of lights. So yeah, those stay off until you get off-road and you actually need them for visibility while you're rock crawling or mudding or, you know, hitting up whatever trail you're hitting up. Oh, but holy moly if those just aren't the prettiest dang things I ever did saw. I definitely think it's safe to say that we will no longer have any issues as far as visibility goes when we're off-roading at nighttime. So huge shout out to Baja Designs for these super awesome products. Look at Kevin, he's so excited right now. Anyways, you guys, as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. I'll go ahead and include links, of course, to Baja Designs and all of their products. But as always, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next time. Bye! Now, if you are by yourself on a lonely road and you're not off-roading, but there's no one in front of you, you can use these lights because, as you can see...
Did you see all their eyes light up?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but you see all those deer, all their eyes?
Do you see it? Now you see it.
Boom! Now you see them. Look at that. Good news is we completely agree and that this we've gone ahead and plugged in the Baja Designs Squadron Pro and then Baja Design provides these nice little 10-meter
Unique New York. Unique New York.
Unique New York. As far as tools go, you're going to need 1 millimeter. You see what you did with this stupid, unique New York crap?
What'd you do? Why'd you do that to her?
It's totally Michael's fault.
Unique New York.
God, I'm on a roll tonight.
New York.
Unique New York.